It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 272 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Hazelnut.
It's so good. Now, if you're not drinking Bright and Early's hazelnut coffee, you're missing out. We have a code CWTCL 15 for 15% off a bagged coffee. Where should everybody go to get this?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
If you need K-Cups, go over to Amazon and follow them on social media. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious hazelnut coffee and chat?
I am, but first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubly Farms, use the link grubly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so we're back from Phoenix. Woohoo!
I loved Phoenix more than I even expected to, so much so that I'm now obsessed with the Sonoran Desert, and I want to live in Phoenix in January and February.
Yeah, I called you Monday morning and you were like, oh, I've been on the computer looking up property in Phoenix.
I have been. And in the surrounding area. It doesn't have to be right in Phoenix, but I want to be in the Sonoran Desert. Yeah.
We want to send a huge thank you out to our Cargill Nutrena partners for inviting us to come out with them and spend a couple of days at the Mid-States Trade Show. It was amazing. The coffee bar was top notch.
The Cargill booth was gorgeous. All the new bags for the Naturewise poultry feed were on display. What a great time. Wonderful people. Thank you all. Special thank you to Amanda for holding our hand through this whole process.
Yeah. I was like, by the end, are you like, Chrissy, please stop talking? She never said not stop talking. So we're good. We're good.
No,
but yeah,
we had great conversation. Yeah, it was wonderful.
It was wonderful. Go out and buy some Nutrena. It's the best food ever. So what else is going on? Oh, we came home to 10 degrees. It's still cold.
I'm so tired of looking at this snow. There's so much of it. It's so thick that even though we have some days above freezing, it's not budging. It's not going anywhere.
There was supposed to be snow last night, but it didn't get north. I was like, thank you, God. It was a south thing.
Seriously.
And Friday, they're calling for like an inch. I'm like, an inch I can deal with, but an inch on top of a foot that's moved nowhere in over a week, can't deal with.
I don't want an inch. I don't want any. I don't want any. I want...
That's what she said.
Green. I want green grass. Even brown grass. I just want ground.
Yeah, like we're starting to finally see now. You parked in our driveway when we went to Phoenix for a few days, and it was bad. It still looks the same. There's just a few holes of asphalt out there.
Ours is the same way.
It's bad. Oh, I do want to give a shout out to my hubby. He did the polar bear plunge yesterday.
Oh, God.
They had to break the ice on the Chesapeake Bay, and he plunged with his company, and yeah, it was a great day. It raises up so much money for the Special Olympics of Maryland, so...
I would happily donate money without forcing human beings to go into sub-freezing water, but that's just me.
He did it! And I'm wearing the sweatshirt today. I was like,
oh, is that
I
what
like
that
the
is?
sweatshirt. Bring the sweatshirt home. So yeah. It's the 30th. So yeah, for all those poor people that run into the bay, it was 28 degrees water temperature.
That's actually warmer than I thought it would be, honestly.
I know. Bad. So what else you have going on?
Garden planning. I was in the middle of setting up my gardens for the Ruth Stout growing method with, the composted hay, but the snowstorm put an end to that. I'm really antsy to get some stuff done outside. In the meantime, garden planning and doing lots and lots of extra work because we still have all these animals stuck inside.
And on that note, If you're listening to the show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a written review. Thank you to everyone who has left us a review, and hit that subscribe button because you never want to miss this fun. It's amazing.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the show, you can tell some chicken, duck, or goose-loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you to all of our absolutely wonderful patrons. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay! You know what I love when it's 95 degrees outside?
Being inside.
Well, that too, but I really love cleaning my igloo chicken coop.
Yeah, it is so easy to clean. You don't have to break a sweat.
And you can use a water hose or pressure washer, so it doubles as a cool down. I also love those run covers.
Oh man, the shade is superb. I go into the run to cool off.
Yep, my flock's covered during the heat of the day, just chillin'.
Meanwhile, we're melting on the patio. Seriously, can we get in on this amazing coop design for ourselves?
They're out there living the dream.
So when it's pushing 100 degrees, the right setup matters.
That's why we choose an igloo.
Get your girls their own just in time for summer.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards. Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today.
There once was a chicken that wore some pants. They were feathered all the way down in the butt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They like to wear the pants. It's time for this week's Breed Spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this week's Breed Spotlight is, if you haven't guessed,
The Cochin.
they wear pants with feathers.
Well, they have the fluffiest legs, I think, out of all the leg and foot feathered people.
You think
think
more
they
than
have-
Brahmas?
Oh, yeah, they do. More than Brahmas. I mean, Brahmas have a lot, but Cochins, I think Cochins have the most, yeah.
I love the look, but it's a double-edged sword, you know, because they're protected, but then they can also have other problems with it.
Right. I mean, it keeps them warmer in the winter. It's much hotter in the summer. Molting for the legs on the feathers and the feet is usually really ouchy and horrible to watch. And
stuff can get caked in those feathers, whether it's freezing or mud or whatever. So
you've got to watch them, especially in cold weather, to make sure they don't have bits of frozen ice and snow stuck there against their skin that could give them frostbite. If you're not dealing with ice and snow, they're great for winter. They're great for a cold climate. And here in the Mid-Atlantic, even though we're really cold and then we're really hot, they do okay. You know, you worry about them in the heat, but they do okay with cool water and fans and all those things. They have to have those things.
Yeah, they have to have stuff for hot weather, that's for sure.
Okay, if you don't know what a Cochin is, we will tell you. Cochins are the original fancy chicken. They originated in China, and they were further developed in the UK and the US, and they were gradually bred into these gorgeous, super fluffy, giant, feather-footed, beautiful chickens that we know and love. The Cochin is the foundation breed for so many chicken breeds all over the world that it probably would be hard to list them all. A few of them, you got Plymouth Rocks,
Summer,
Wyandottes,
Orpingtons. Can you believe that one?
Buckeyes,
And our all-time favorite, Barnevelders.
Poultry historian Lewis Wright calls the Cochin the father of the poultry fancy, and none may dispute his place of honor. What he's talking about is hen fever, which we'll talk about as we get in a little bit. Essentially, he sees the Cochin as the breed that changed how people view chickens. When people went crazy over Cochins, it was the moment when public perception of chickens shifted from backyard scavengers to these valuable pets. And I think under that pet umbrella is also valuable showbirds.
Oh, yeah.
Cochins are members of the Asiatic class, along with the Brahma and the Langshan. They are large, extremely well-feathered and fluffy chickens. And one thing you want to know about them is that they take a long time to grow and mature.
I've noticed that because I just got Cochins for the first time, as you know. When did we get the Cochins? Like 2-3 years ago?
I think it'll be 3 years in spring.
Yeah. And you have always talked about them being larger, and it takes a long time for them to fill out because I kept saying they're not as big as I thought. And I feel like with every molt, they grow in more feathers too, and they become fluffier. Right. But so, they are definitely a slow grow. They are. Sure.
Sometimes you get a bird that just isn't that big, but they will continue to look larger as the feathers grow. If you go to a poultry show where you're looking at breed standard bred,
oh my God,
Cochins, they are massive birds.
We know that from Ohio. We were like, our jaws were dropped most of the time looking at standard sized birds. Oh my God. The funny
thing is, the first flock of Cochins that we ever ordered were huge.
Yeah.
Now, this is a long time ago. This is almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They were huge. The next batch we got, the size had gone down a bit.
And you wonder what breeding does play and genetics play a role in all of, and bloodlines. So they do play a little bit of a role in, well, not a little bit, a lot in the size of the bird that you're going to end up with. But you don't want to give up on them after a year. They definitely will fill out and become larger. That's
of course. Sure. The Cochins come in a variety of gorgeous colors, and they're known the world over for their gentle personalities and calm disposition. It will come as no surprise that the Livestock Conservancy currently lists the Cochin in the recovering category of the conservation priority list.
Yay!
Now, there is a Bantam Cochin, but it is actually a separate breed. In the rest of the world, it's known as a Pekin.
That's right.
What you're looking at there is that standard-sized Cochins were bred into the Pekins at various points, but the Pekin is not just a smaller counterpart of the large Cochin. They are two separate birds. So they get their own breed spotlight, which I think we're going to do next week.
Yeah, the Pekin, the Cochin Bantam, as known in the United States, they're one of my definitely want when I have my Bantam flock.
They're ridiculously cute. They're probably some of the cutest birds out there.
When we went to the swap,
Maryland Poultry Swap,
I would have come home with that little black and white mottled Bantam, the Cochin Bantam there, but she was already purchased.
Yeah, you were lucky. She was already, I was lucky. Otherwise, I would have been holding her on my lap on the way home.
Oh, yeah, she would have been on the lap. That's for sure.
Now, we found no clear answer about when and how the Cochins first arrived in the U.S. It could have been maybe on a tea clipper ship coming in from China or even another part of Asia, probably sometime in the early 1800s. There were definitely Cochins present during the second half of the 19th century. So one of the original names for this bird, the Shanghai fowl, we'll explain that in a minute. Shanghais were documented as being in Boston for the first poultry show in 1849, and they appeared in the first printing of the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1874.
That took a while from the first show. Took 20-some years to get them in to have the Standard of Perfection out there. And
well, that's for all the breeds, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the APA notes in the Standard of Perfection that the original Cochins were buff in color, but by 1974, there were 4 color varieties admitted. The buff,
white,
black,
and one of my favorites, the partridge. Love that color.
You don't have a partridge. Sure. I have a partridge hen, but you don't have any partridge Cochins.
But I just love partridge chickens.
I know. They're gorgeous.
I should get a partridge Cochin at some point. I should.
Now, in the ensuing years, several more colors have been added to those original 4, including the silver-laced,
the gold lace,
the blue,
brown,
and the barred or cuckoo Cochin. Queen Victoria is probably the most famous Cochin lover in history, if not the most famous chicken lover in history.
Exactly.
She absolutely loved animals, and she kept a variety of poultry and fowl. Not long after she took the throne in 1837, Victoria and her husband Albert had commissioned a large aviary on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Sources say that she spent a lot of time there with her different birds, but it was a gift of 5 Cochin China hens and 2 roosters from a naval officer named Edward Belcher. It was his gift that delighted her most. She went crazy over these birds. These birds were a pen and ink sketch of them, appeared in the Evening Post. Everyone wanted to know about the Queen's birds.
I mean, they're unusual, they're friendly. I mean, they have all the things.
Now, in an interesting twist, the chickens that we call Cochins were not the same birds known as Cochins in China. They're actually very different. The famous Cochin China fowl that first captivated Queen Victoria were large birds that were much closer in appearance to a Malay, and probably had a completely different name in China or wherever in Asia they came from.
And in those faces, you can see that Malay
you absolutely can.
Brow. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the birds that we know as Cochins first showed up in the UK in 1847 on board a tea clipper ship that was docked in London. They were large, they were fluffy, and they were feather-legged. And at the time, like we just said, They were called Shanghai fowl. These birds were imported from Shanghai. But for some reason, people persisted in calling them Shanghai Cochins, and later they just shortened it to Cochins.
Made it easy for us.
Right. But it was this new Cochin, this fluffy Cochin, that ignited hen fever in the UK and the US as well. If you're not familiar with hen fever, we'll tell you. It was essentially a craze for purebred chickens. And it wasn't just Cochins that were swept up in hen fever.
Let's list these breeds.
Brahmas,
Seabrights,
Dorkings,
and even the white-faced black Spanish.
They were all among the breeds that were selling for just exorbitant amounts of money. The upper middle classes could not get enough of breed-specific chickens. And the craze was fueled by 19th century interest in naturalism, by the opening of Asia to Western trade, and the fact that there were more wealthy people due to the Industrial Revolution who could afford to spend money on fancy pet chickens.
Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about the breed standard and what they call for. Cochin roosters weigh about 11 pounds, and the hens, they come in about 8.5. Now, like I was saying, this can range a little bit, okay? So that's an average. They are supposed to be this big. It does not make them fat. And some of them could be smaller. So they might weigh 6, 7, 8 pounds. So yeah, that's in there. So they have red faces, red earlobes, moderately sized straight combs, and their legs and feet are yellow in most colors, but few have slate legs. And guess what? You might not see them because they're fully feathered.
You can pretty much see the inside of the leg and maybe the first toe.
Yeah, like under the toe, like you can see the yellow in between the feathers, which is kind of cool. So you're not going to see much of their skin tones. Now, their tails on both hens and roos are short and wide and add to their large, fluffy appearance, that fluffy booty body. These days, Cochins are generally still kept as pets, showbirds, and as good broody hens. Here's the thing. They go broody. My Cochin Francesca was broody from June to almost September last summer.
Yeah.
So
they're persistent broodies.
You have to be aware of this because you have to be able to get them out of a really hot coop or do some preventative things so that they're not overheating in the summertime for going broody. They're really good broodies for ducks, for geese. They're big enough to fit those bigger eggs under them. And they've got all that fluff under there to keep them warm. So broody mamas, Cochins are your girls. They want to hatch. They want babies. They want them.
Yeah.
So they are so gentle, so laid back, and they are going to make an excellent family pet for your kids because they just want love. And they do very well in a mixed flock with other gentle breeds. What is it? Who has a mean roux?
Oh, Marcy and I had a mean roux.
Oh, okay.
he was mean. He chased. I was much, much, much younger and didn't know that you should not run from a giant rooster.
Oh, did you run from him?
Oh yeah, I ran across the farm and got in with the llamas and alpacas. He was a little bugger. I mean, now I would never do that, but back then I was like,
so how much did he chase you?
I mean, every chance he got. If they were out free ranging and somebody got near, he was after them. He was terrible.
So you spent a lot of time in the llama and alpaca barn. We're finding this out.
I mean, I started planning my time outside when he was not free ranging. But again, this is our first flock, so you learn in time that you do not run from a brew.
If only I were around with a cell phone those days.
There would be some funny stuff.
There would be some funny stuff. Now, here we go into laying because everybody wants to know laying stats, right? They're not the best. I see people out there that put Cochins on the top layers, and they're not.
No, unless you've got some kind of a Cochin cross with something else, Cochins are not great layers, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Here's the thing I see. They're about 2 or 3 eggs a week while they're laying, okay?
Right.
The other times, you're fighting them. I've got the 2 Cochins. I fight both of them every summer with broodiness. So here's the thing, though. It's a good thing and a bad thing. They're going to lay eggs longer for you because they go broody so much.
I feel like when it comes to my Cochins, when they come back into lay, they're more like 3 eggs a week. But as the weather gets hotter, they usually go down to 2 eggs a week.
So yeah, Francesca's just started laying like a week or 2 ago, and she hasn't laid since April of last year or May of last year. So she'll lay right now up until April or May, and then it's
and then
on.
she goes broody, so she's not laying at all. Yeah,
not laying at all. But here's the thing: if you do good chicken care, you'll have eggs for a long time because she'll be laying them in her older age because we all know this. I don't know if there's some people that may not. There may be. Chickens are just like women and humans. They're born with the number of eggs they're going to lay. So they're all going to come out.
And they need a break from their reproductive system.
They need a break, man. They're like, no mas. So
they're not the most practical breed for a homestead. That doesn't mean you can't make them work. They more than make up for it in the looks and the sweetness. But one of the reasons that they're not super popular with homesteaders is because if you're going to grow your cockerels out for table birds, you're going to have to wait a long time.
You're really going to have to wait. Here's the other side of it. They could be good for homesteaders, the females, for hatching eggs.
Right.
If you need a broody mama, they are good for your homestead.
They're perfect for that. They're not very predator savvy or fast or all those other things.
Stats aren't high. But if you want lots of love and hugs, they're going to be great. You know, they're kind of known as the plus size supermodels of the poultry world.
Gorgeous.
I mean, those curves, they're shaking it.
They
just
fill
like
up your arms with love.
Like in Phoenix last week, somebody came up to the booth and told us about she had an office and they had chickens, and one of them was Chikira.
Chikira, that's my favorite of them. I love Chikira.
That would be a great name for a Cochin.
It would be.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been running around singing Chikira.
Yeah.
Because I love that name so much.
You can hug a bunch. So here we go. If you're looking for Cochins, where do we tell everybody to go?
McMurray Hatchery. They have beautiful Cochin lines that include black,
blue,
white,
buff,
partridge,
and that gorgeous silver-laced. Our Cochins are from McMurray Hatchery. They're amazing.
My black Cochin Indigo is massive. She is a massive girl, and her fluff is second to none. And then I have silver-laced and a partridge Cochin. And again, stunning birds. Absolutely beautiful.
And at McMurray, remember this. You can request both the Merrick's and the coccidiosis vaccine. When you order your chicks, they do it. They don't even feel it. It's simple. Sometimes they do it in ova with some of these.
The coccidiosis, yeah.
Yeah. And it's so cheap, and it will save you down the line. So when you order your Cochins there, you can get that.
No, Cochins are still a bit rare in feed stores. I mean, if I walked into a feed store randomly and there were Cochins, I don't know if I could resist.
I never see them in feed stores.
No. They are popular with breeders, so if you're looking for someone local, you can do a Google search. Really, we would steer you towards the Livestock Conservancy's breeders directory.
Even if you're doing a breeder, make sure.
Yeah, if you're doing a breeder, you ask all the questions, make sure they're MPIP, make sure they're vaccinated, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
Don't bring problems into your flock.
Exactly. There you go. The Cochin Pants Chicken.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Eaton Pet and Pasture is a farmer-owned company based in upstate New York that creates USA-made sustainable products for backyard chicken keepers. From low-dust hemp bedding and comfy aspen nesting pads to nutritious treats and odor-eliminating products, everything is designed to keep your coop clean, healthy, and smelling egg-tastic.
All their products are made right here in the USA with ingredients that are safe for your flock and the planet. So whether you're doing a deep clean or just a quick refresh, Eaton makes it simple to care for your coop the natural way.
They're your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness, made easy.
Visit eatonpetandpasture.com to explore the full line of flock favorites and use the code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount. So we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cochins.
Right? It literally was coincidental. We did not plan this, but I think these kinds of things happen because these are all the chickens that we like so much.
Yeah. So we're talking about winter layers and everything you kind of need to know or want to know about winter layers, because when you're looking up your chicken breeds, you're going to see on there winter layer, or what's the other thing they list on there? Is it they either put winter layer or not, basically?
Yeah, generally just winter layer or not. You know, you see heat hardy, cold hardy, winter layer, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
The winter layers do tend to be the cold hardy birds, which makes sense.
Exactly. And they're going to start laying for you in January, usually.
Well, actually earlier than that. Winter layer. So we use the term a lot, but what do we mean when we say winter layer? So these are hens that start laying eggs again in the first month or two after the winter solstice on December 21st. I, every year, have chickens that start right around that time. Well,
yeah.
My partridge Cochin started in the beginning of December. She had a very early molt and started laying early. But every year that I've raised chickens, I've had some chickens start right after the solstice. And then I feel like through January and February, they ramp up.
They do. And then you have the ones that are not winter layers that are waiting, and you're not going to see them until March or April start their laying when the sun's out longer, when it's warmer, and those types of things.
Some laying hens will not come back into lay, like you were saying, until there is like 14 or 16 hours of daylight. But what I have noticed, this is my 20 years of experience talking, some winter laying hens will come back into lay with as little as 10 hours of daylight.
And here's where I'm going to inject this. This does not mean
you're injecting.
Don't light them to get them to lay earlier. I cannot say this enough. Give their bodies a break and go to your local farm, one that has fresh eggs, and get them there and let them take the break. Don't try to speed up the light process and get them to go quicker, because their body breaks for a reason.
Absolutely. Support a local farmer who's supplying eggs through the winter, or you could buy our book and read all about how to preserve your eggs.
You could. You could also go to our grocery store. Well, we're close to some farms that are around us. They supply them in our local grocery store. So you can go in you don't even have to go to the farm. You go right to the grocery store.
If you're lucky enough to have a grocery store that buys from small local producers, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So a winter layer does not mean that your hen won't take a break in the fall to molt. The fall is different than winter.
That's right.
Generally, chickens will all take a break in late summer to fall. Okay, because they're going to molt. They need to grow those feathers out for winter.
Right. They're definitely going to go off lay for a couple of months. And like we said, that reproductive rest is really important. So let's talk about some of our favorite winter layers.
Okay, number one is one of my most faves. How many do you have? I have 3.
I have 3.
Okay, the Faverolles. Okay, so the Faverolles, Ivy is laying now.
All 3 of my girls are laying.
Just Ivy for me right now. But they are a chicken that looks like they belong in the movie Frozen. We have said this all along.
So once our days started to get a little warmer, post-snowstorm, I've been opening the doors on just my big coops. The first birds out were my Faverolles.
They're equipped. They're very well feathered. Mm-hmm. They got those muffs and everything. Like, look at them as ear muffs, basically, right? They don't have a lot of comb to worry about and waddle. We talk about that all the time. They have the feathered legs. So the Faverolles, they're amazing. They're winter layers. The next one.
Cochins.
Which we just talked to you about a bunch. We love them. I'm going to let you go next one because that's one of your all-time favorites.
Brahmas. Just like Cochins, Brahmas are not great layers. I mean, they really slow down after their first year or two, but they will definitely start giving you eggs in January, February.
Okay, now this is one of both of our favorites, the Barnevelders, and both of our Barnevelders are laying and have been laying for a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're big, speckled, dark, beautiful eggs. Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
Dorkings. I'd read that Dorkings are good winter layers, wasn't sure, but my girls are definitely giving me some eggs every morning. Happy to see that.
Go next one. The next one's you too.
Langshans. Both of my Langshans started up during January.
I'm going to do next two because I got them. Orpingtons. They're not started yet. They are the breed that sometimes needs a little more sun. Look at it this way. Sometimes the bigger, the fluffier, it takes a little bit more sun to get through all those feathers to the skin.
My Orpingtons started. So Queen Elizabeth laid a few eggs, but then when it got cold, she stopped. I'm sure she'll start again once this weather clears.
None of mine started. Okay. So I'm going to do the next one. Barred Rocks. I have Poppy. She is not laying. She is also going on 8. That could have something to do with it.
If I remember way back to our original Barred Rocks, I think they started up sometime in February.
Yeah, I think so.
Wyandottes, well, neither one of us have Wyandottes, but those are big, huggable, beautiful heritage breed hens that will give you a good, respectable amount of eggs, probably 3 to 4 a week.
Okay. Spicy, the Rhode Island Red, egg report. She started laying. It got super cold, and she stopped laying.
I think that's not uncommon for the American breeds. It's self-preservation. You know, it gets cold again or there's bad weather and they need all the resources to keep them going.
Exactly.
Same with the Jersey Giants. Great winter layers. They start a little later and they'll stop if the weather gets adverse.
Now, the Australorps are the egg-laying queens of the world.
And they are good winter layers.
You have boys. You have boys.
I have
so
boys. I have boys. But Michelle has, one of my other besties, Michelle has Australorp hens, and they are early layers, but they're not super duper early.
Okay. So crested cream leg bars. Okay. Peggy was laying and has stopped.
Mine have kept laying. I'm pretty sure it's Dame Judy Dench right now because she has a greenish egg. Yeah. She's just cranking them out right now.
Okay, go ahead. This is you.
Swedish flower hens. So the Swedish flower hens, they've always started very early, late December, early January for me. Pansy is 10. And Pansy, she still laid me some eggs in early spring last year, so she might give me a few April, May when it gets a lot warmer. She can retire. She doesn't need to still lay, but they are good layers.
She's like, it's too cold. I'm too old. And there ain't no time for that. I'm not laying.
The same thing for Dolly the Dominique. Dolly's a good layer. Dominiques are good layers. And they're pretty winter hardy. And Dolly used to lay me a lot starting in January, but she is 9 and also retired.
Yeah, the older ladies are like, we're done with this stuff. Come on. So the Easter eggers also are good winter layers.
Surprisingly, I think it depends on what kind of a mix they have genetically.
Exactly. Like, do they have a mix of any of these chickens in them? They might have some of those. So these are the most well-known winter layers that we know. And if you want eggs starting in end of December, January, February, these are some of your best bets to get.
Now, if you were paying attention to that list, you may have realized that the hens we mentioned are mostly American, Asiatic, and English class breeds, with some continental breeds thrown in too. No Mediterraneans.
Okay. Lucy's been laying for weeks.
Lucy is a production. Okay. So here's the thing though. Lucy is a production leghorn.
Yes.
And she is a laying machine.
And she's going on 8. And she's my girl. She's crazy. But
while on average, Mediterraneans will not be laying during this time, any hen can be a winter layer, including birds that do better in hot climates. Because
here's the other thing. Your Mediterraneans aren't supposed to lay, but that class of chicken, you know what I like to call them? The overachievers.
They can be.
My Andalusians are laying.
I've had some eggs from my Andalusians as well. So what I was going to say, though, any hen can be a winter layer because what it comes down to is genetics matter, but chickens are super adaptable and climate and weather patterns can end up making winter layers out of some unexpected breeds, like the Andalusians.
They're overachievers.
Don't count on them, but it could happen. But you can't count on them.
So this year, Basil, one of my Andalusians, did a full body molt, like went down to nothing, grew feathers in about 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that started laying again. Crazy.
Yeah.
So you really got to make sure. And for those chickens that are winter layers, I feel like you have to watch them very closely because there isn't as much sun. You want to make sure they're getting vitamins and calcium, all the things they need.
In mild climates or geographical areas that are experiencing a mild winter, hens may ramp up quickly to their normal production levels once they start laying. But in areas experiencing severe cold, the hens just won't lay as many eggs as usual because their resources are going to keep themselves warm.
Right.
from an evolutionary standpoint, not laying eggs in severe cold makes perfect sense.
They'll freeze and they'll have to sit on them even longer.
That's right.
I mean, they know that you can get micro cuts, and so it's really important, those winter layers, to get those eggs out of there.
Right.
They can freeze and be damaged. And are you really going to be hatching eggs in the winter? No.
Well, if you think about it, again, this is evolution at work. Hens generally, even if they're laying, hens generally don't go broody until the warmer temperature stimulates your hormones. You don't want your hens hatching babies at 12 degrees.
It doesn't make sense in nature. So they're kind of like, why is this happening to me right now? I don't need babies. But I will say this. A truffle got in the stroller, which I call the mobile nest box, this morning.
Oh my God.
And in the garage, laid an egg, and then rolled it under her. And I quickly got it out of there. And I'm like, oh no, we're not doing that now.
Oh my God.
It's the middle of winter. No broody to go out here.
No.
And sometimes I think when they're stressed or when they're brought into the garage, they're like, we've got to preserve our kind. So
you never know. They might think they're the last chickens on the earth and they have to do something like this.
I always say that. I'm like, look, you're not the last chickens on the earth. You don't have to preserve and hatch a million times.
So I was just looking around for some interesting things about winter layers. So I checked to see if there are any studies had been done. I found a 2019 study that was published in the Journal of Thermal Biology. And this study found that laying hens who were exposed to severe cold but had oregano oil added to their water laid more and laid eggs that stayed fresher longer. The study didn't mention exactly how the oregano oil was used, like what vehicle was it in the water, blah, blah, blah. They didn't get into that. But if you want to try this, it's probably worth trying it in safe ways. Do not just pour essential oil of oregano in your chicken's water for a lot of reasons. Oil and water is an expression for a reason. And so if they get it, it's in big doses. It's not good. It's not good.
So here's something that we use constantly in the winter. That's chicken elixir. It's best.
Strong Animal Essentials, right? They're chicken elixir because it does have properly formulated oregano oil in the mix. You can also brew some oregano tea for your birds. You can steep some fresh oregano in your water dishes if you want. If you have any oregano alive in your garden, you can let your flock visit for some nibbles or just pick it and toss it into your runs. All good ways to get some oregano into them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Giving them the vitamins that they need and the oregano, the herbs that they need are really good. These types of things can keep them happy and healthy layers at the winter.
There was another study that I found, and I thought this one was really interesting. This one was published in the August 2021 issue of Poultry Science Journal. This study found that laying hens provided with a heated perch during periods of extreme cold laid more eggs with thicker eggshells and showed better all-around health and immunity than the groups without heated perches.
Makes sense. They're warmer.
Right. So go ahead and spoil those girls with coop heaters and heated perches and whatever else you can do to keep them healthier and happier through winter. There's no downside to this, right? This is an industrial focused study.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it and it's working well, it's definitely going to work well for your backyard birds.
Yeah. So we want to talk about best practices for winter layers here. We want to make sure that you have oyster shell available even through the winter months for those girls who are winter layers because they need the calcium. If not, you can run into a bunch of problems. If there's snow on the ground, you want to put the oyster shell up on the fencing or put it somewhere where
someplace they can get it. Well, it's like you said, they need more calcium, et cetera, et cetera. They're not getting enough vitamin D. So it's really important to do these things.
Collect those eggs often because micro cracks, it's a thing. You don't see them, but what the micro cracks do is they allow bacteria to get into that egg structure. And this is a big time of the year. If you can bring them in and test them, make sure they don't float in the water before you even crack them and make sure there's nothing in there.
They can freeze and all, like there could be micro cracks, there can be big cracks. If you're going to use a frozen egg, I don't even use frozen eggs. I just feed them back to the chickens. I don't take the chance.
Me too. If an egg's out there, it goes back to the chickens so that they can get that vitamin D from that yolk that's in that egg. Keep a thick layer of bedding or some cushy nest box pads to keep those hens warm and comfy while they're laying those eggs and to protect the eggs. So if your nest boxes are warmer, it's going to protect your eggs from freezing more. It's going to keep the chickens warm, the eggs warm, everything. I really like those nest pads from Eaton Hemp. They're amazing. They keep them so warm.
My birds like them. It's really, really cushy. And if your birds don't like them, use them anyway and put a layer of bedding on top.
They're going to love them.
Super cushion. Yep.
Okay, so those winter layers, there you go. Keep them happy, healthy, and enjoy those eggs. Make lots of recipes with them.
If your flock could talk, they would thank you for shopping at Eaton Pet and Pasture, your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness made easy.
From their all-natural USA-made favorites like hemp bedding, roost refresh, and nesting pads to convenient product bundles that make chicken care simple, Eaton has everything you need to keep your coop clean, cozy, and odor-free.
Check them out at EatonPetAndPasture.com and use code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount.
Are we ready to move on to
Cracking the eggs?
cracking those eggs? Now, this recipe this week comes from a patron of ours. Darcy, we love you.
Darcy's one of our wonderful hen level patrons. And when she suggested Mud Hen Bars, I thought that's a weird name. This is probably a thing. Mud Hen Bars are a Southern heirloom recipe dating back about 100 years. The original version was a simple pecan cookie bar topped with brown sugar meringue layer, which, as it is, sounds really good. But sometime in the 20th century, marshmallows and chocolate chips were added to the recipe, and the pecans were omitted from the crust. So I used Darcy's recipe, and I used an old recipe, and I tried putting them back together, and the result was delicious. This crust was very easy to make, gluten and dairy-free. Chicken eggs work best here because they'll whip into meringue more quickly. If you're using duck or goose eggs, make sure you add a teaspoon of vinegar to the egg whites to help denature the proteins and make them easier to whip.
You would always think that chicken eggs are better for meringue because the duck and goose eggs are way more dense than chicken eggs.
Especially if you add the vinegar. They will whip eventually, but it takes longer. If I'm doing meringue, I'm almost always going for chicken eggs.
Why make your life harder unless all you have is ducks and geese? Use those. But if you have chickens, use the chicken eggs.
Yep.
Let's go through the ingredients that we're going to need. It's a half a cup, 1 stick of unsalted butter or dairy-free butter at room temperature, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 3 large eggs from those winter layers, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of half and half or milk or thick dairy-free creamer, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour or gluten-free 1-to-1, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of chopped pecans, pinch of cream of tartar, optional. Use if you have problems with your meringues deflating, okay? 1 cup of light brown sugar packed, 1 heaping cup of chocolate chips. So that could be eyeballed a little bit. If you like more, add more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
1 heaping cup of mini marshmallows. The same with that.
Ditto.
If you like them, go crazy.
Ditto. You're going to preheat your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Line a 13 by 19 inch baking pan with aluminum foil, leaving a hangover on each end for handles. Or if you're lazy like me, you just butter or spray your pan and set it aside.
I do that too.
You're going to cream the butter and sugar together until it's well blended and fluffy. I should say you're going to cream the butter and the granulated sugar together until it's well blended and fluffy. Separate 2 of the eggs and set aside the whites. You're going to add 1 whole egg and those 2 yolks to the butter mixture and blend them in. Add the vanilla and milk and blend them in completely. Then you're going to whisk together the flour, the baking powder, and the salt and add it to the butter mixture along with those chopped pecans. Gently mix that to combine, and then you're going to spread that into your prepared pan. That's your crust. So just gently pat it into place, put it in the oven, and bake it for 10 minutes. While it's baking, you're going to grab another mixing bowl, and you're going to beat those reserved egg whites until they're foamy. Add your pinch of cream of tartar if using, and continue beating until the meringues are stiff. You're going to take that brown sugar, and you're going to fold it into the beaten egg whites until blended. It's going to deflate a bit, but it's still going to be meringue. You don't need it huge and billowy. Once the crust is finished, you're going to sprinkle the marshmallows and the chocolate chips over the top, and you're going to spread the meringue over the top of them. The best way to do this, I found, was to dollop a bunch of mounds of the meringue and then take like a simple butter knife and spread it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. The sources I looked at said that these bars are called Mud Hen Bars because apparently, I've never heard this before, but apparently in the South, there's an expression, ugly as a mud hen.
Oh, God.
Right? I don't know. So, bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes. Take it out of the oven, but let it cool in the pan completely. Then you can either lift it out if you used foil, or you can just cut it in squares, serve and enjoy. This said it made 24 small squares. Not in my house.
Did you get 12?
Yeah, I think that's what we got, yeah. 12 delicious.
A lot of recipes say they make
like
tiny.
2 by 2. 2 by 2, yeah.
Like they're tiny, and it's not really like a serving size you're going to take of a dessert. So try it. You might like it. You're going to love it. And let us know what you think. Send us pictures. We would love to see it. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we're talking about a new product from Nutrena because we're excited. We're really excited.
Yeah, this is Nutrena Tidbits. This is a new treat that's been launched by Nutrena. I love the name Tidbits because chicken's tidbit for treats.
Exactly. I mean, it's so cute. I love that name. And the great thing about this is it's a treat for immunity health. So it's a healthy treat that you can get. Now, you don't want to just feed them this at will, but there's things like oregano oil, thyme oil in here. We were just talking about that with your winter layers. So this is crafted into a treat that has exactly what they need, so there's no guess game with it.
Right. So these treats, they're a good source of protein. They have vitamins A, D, and E, and they have some really good omega-3 fatty acids, which you know helps with eggs.
And selenium. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. There's also marigolds. We talk a little bit about the health benefits of marigolds in our book. Haha. And rosemary, which is something you don't always see in chicken treats, but it's great. I like to mix this in with the scratch that I throw out in the cold months at the end of the day because it's just filled with good stuff.
I mean, it's filled with scratch, so it's a great thing. It has post and probiotics in it. So it's packed full of really healthy stuff. It's a treat that you can feel good about, that you're not going to be like, oh, I'm just giving them crack corn or something, which they love crack corn. I love giving mine crack corn, but this has a lot of health benefits in with this treat, and they're going to love it.
When we did the winter vitamin and mineral deficiencies the other week, we were talking about whole grain rice, oats, wheat that have bran attached. Well, rice bran is one of the ingredients in the tidbits, which I love.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. It's shareable. It's nourishing. How can you go wrong? Chickens love it. And it tastes great. They love it.
It should be available. If it's not already, it should be available at your local farm store before too long.
And on Chewy, I believe. I think they're on Chewy. They're selling out rather fast, though. So check it out. Make sure you get one of the times it's in. Now, should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, like we said during the episode, we're going to profile the Pekin, known to Americans as the Cochin Bantam. Main topic, we've done a lot of the systems of the chicken body because we think anatomy is important. We haven't broached this one yet. We're going to give you an overview of the skeletal system.
And it's not even Halloween.
Not even Halloween. Next week's recipe is an ode to our love for Arizona.
It's a song.
It's a song. We'll have to write a song about it. We are making Southwestern cornbread with Napolitos and cheddar. And Napolitos,
prickly pear.
We love some prickly pear. And then we're going to do a seed spotlight next week. We're going to do cabbage, but I have no idea yet what cultivar. I have to work that out.
And who doesn't love cabbage?
I love cabbage.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah, we eat a lot of cabbage around here.
So what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese.
And kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.